For this part of the video, we are going to look at something called the activity series. The activity series, right here, describes how reactive or how active different metals are when compared with each other. The activity series is listed here on the simulation. There's also a table in your reference tables that also describes and outlines the activity series. Basically, what the activity series tells us is how reactive each of these metals is when compared with the other. We call these values, basically measuring how active these are, we call these their reduction potential. Things that are higher up top are more likely to be oxidized. So I'll label those as more likely to be oxidized up top. OX for oxidized. Things that are closer to the bottom of my activity series are more likely to be reduced. And again, we know that oxidized means that something is more likely to lose electrons. Something that's reduced is more likely to gain electrons. So the closer a metal is to the top, the greater chance it has of being oxidized. And the closer a metal is to the bottom, the more likely it is to be reduced or to gain electrons. So for example, if we look at our copper and zinc cell, like we did in part A, we can see that electrons go from Zn to Cu because Zn is a lot more likely to be oxidized. It's a lot more likely to lose electrons because it is higher up in the activity series. Copper, on the other hand, is more likely to be reduced to gain those electrons because it is farther down in the activity series. It is less reactive. Okay? And so when we talk about how active these metals are, the closer to the top, the more reactive, the more likely they are to be oxidized or to lose electrons. The closer they are to the bottom, the more likely they are to be reduced or to gain electrons, and the less active they are. We can do this for our copper and silver battery as well. And so when we look at the way that electrons flow in copper to Ag, or copper to silver, we see that copper is higher up on the activity series than silver. So copper is more likely to be oxidized to lose electrons, and silver, on the bottom, is more likely to be reduced or to gain electrons. Therefore, copper is a more active or a more reactive metal than silver is.